Welcome in. I'm Ian.
I'm Harrison.
And this is our guest, Antoine.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to start on a trivia question because Harrison finally has somebody to compete against.
Yes. It doesn't feel pointless.
So you would normally just have a trivia question.
It would just be me versus Ian, even though Ian wasn't answering any questions.
Yeah, it's me trying to stump him, basically.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
So now it
All
feels
right.
like a competition.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's go for it. Ready? When Tua Tagovailoa starts in Week 8 against the Rams, he'll be the first left-handed quarterback to start since... I'll give you guys one chance to guess without multiple choice, and if you need it, we'll go to multiple choice for the second guess. Harrison, you go first. Antoine's a guest.
Okay. Left-handed quarterback. I don't know. That's a good one.
Antoine, you go first.
All right, can you repeat the question one more time?
Yes, when Tua Tagovailoa starts in Week 8
Okay.
against the Rams, he'll be the first left-handed quarterback to start since this player. To start, not to be on like a roster.
To start the game, I'm going to go with Colin Kaepernick.
Colin Kaepernick?
All right. I want the multiple choice.
All right, so you're not even going to take your first guess?
Oh, okay. My first guess. God damn it.
I'm just going to keep this buzzer ready
Yeah,
right
just
here.
go ahead. Colin Kaepernick Sr.
All right.
Okay,
Multiple choice.
Here's the multiple choice. Ready? A, Michael Vick. B, Kellen Moore. C, Steve Young. Or D, Tim Tebow. Ooh. Now, Harrison, go first this time because you made Antoine go first.
Well, say them again so I can know which letter goes with which name.
A, Michael Vick. B, Kellen Moore. C, Steve Young. Or D, Tim Tebow.
I'm going to go with B, Kellen Moore.
That's who I would have went with.
Yeah.
Out of those choices. Yeah.
Welcome into 10-Minute Warning. Again, we have our guest Antoine here with us today.
Should we tell them a little bit about how we know Antoine?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would love for you to be the one that gives all of Antoine's credentials, too.
Yeah. So Ian and I work together.
Right.
Ian and I work together
We do.
at the radio station.
Yes.
We won't say which radio station, but we work together.
We do radio together, yeah.
Yeah.
And in the same building.
In the same building.
It's not as shady as it sounds right now.
Or is it?
It's legit. I promise, Mom.
I've gotten real paychecks, I swear.
Yes.
I swear. I spent some of it. Not all of it.
No.
So we're going to go through all the games this week. We're just going to go matchup by matchup, talk about
Okay.
the teams as we get to them. Starting off with a bell cow of a matchup. Giants-Eagles. The Eagles are favored by 4.5. It's a 45 over-under. I mean, there's 2 wins between these two teams. I don't know who wants to win it. I mean, I'm guessing the Eagles. The Eagles feel like they're still trying.
Yeah.
But the Giants have a new head coach who doesn't want a losing record, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think the Giants really want to win just because of Joe Judge.
Yeah.
See, I think the Eagles want to win because they actually have been here before, being a terrible football team and still having a chance to make the playoffs, and they know what it takes. They know that they're still in the hunt. Yeah. I mean,
I think
they're one win away from first place, and they've only won one game.
I think the Giants are really waiting on Sterling Shepard. Once Sterling Shepard gets back,
Yeah.
That's what they're waiting for.
they just want to lose out because they're like, Darius Slayton can't do it on his own. So like we lost Saquon.
Listen.
I feel like Daniel Jones might be able to do it once Sterling Shepard gets back, but he looks bad right now.
The New York Giants did not make their coaches run laps during their training camp for them to lose tonight. They were getting them ready for tonight's game against the Eagles.
This is their best chance of winning since winning last week. Like, to
Yes.
take on the Eagles on a Thursday night game where usually
Yeah.
teams don't play their best, this is their best chance.
Yeah, and Thursday night games are always, I don't know if you guys feel this way, but I feel like Thursday night games almost never work out the way they think they will.
Yeah.
Because of the short week. It always is a really weird game.
Neither team plays up to their full capabilities.
Because they didn't have that entire week to practice like they normally would. So and then everybody's not healthy and
As a fantasy manager, I'm really excited for Alshon Jeffrey to please play a game this year. Just come back. Come back and play a game. He's been on my IR all year.
I almost drafted him, but I did. I did draft Deshaun Jackson, but I dropped him last week.
Yeah.
But now he's active this week, so I'm going to see how he does. I may go pick him back up.
I drafted Alshon Jeffrey with a wild card, like the last pick, dropped him, paid with fab budget to pick him back up and have now been carrying him for 3 weeks. And I'm just like, come on.
That's rough.
That's not good.
All right, so who do you guys, I mean, if you had to guess, since this is the Thursday game, we're not going to make a pick on necessarily every game, but 4.5-point spread favoring the Eagles. Who do you think's going to win? Giants? Eagles?
I'll take the Eagles. I think they have what it takes. They've been here before.
Yeah.
It's easy for them.
I'm actually going with the Giants.
Giants?
I'm going with the Giants. I think both defenses are not playing great right now.
No.
And Daniel Jones, as crazy as this is about to sound, has more weapons on offense right now than Carson Wentz does.
Very true.
Because Zach Ertz isn't playing, Miles Sanders isn't playing,
Right.
Alshon Jeffrey's not playing.
Right. They don't-
So, yeah, I'm going with the Giants.
That's a good point.
You know, I came into this podcast wanting the Eagles, so thinking the Eagles were going to win, but through our discussion, I am now on the Giants because the Thursday night game factor is the thing for me. I just feel like whatever team I think will win on Thursday will not.
Ever.
That's very true.
Ever.
Yeah, the Eagles are probably looking past the Giants. I doubt the Giants are looking past anybody.
No.
So next up we have a 1 o'clock game on CBS. That'll be on Sunday. Browns, Bengals. The Browns won this last time, but I don't know. I'm kind of feeling the Bengals in this matchup. I mean, the Browns have 3 points that they're getting as the current line. So, I mean, it should be a good game. I mean, do you guys think the Browns are going to get their 5th win?
Do we even know if Baker's starting?
He's starting. Come on. Let's not get crazy now.
No, I like the Bengals too in this one. I think
Wow.
I think they have more of an explosive offense right now than the Browns do. The Browns just can't seem to get it together. They can't find that missing puzzle piece. So, yeah, I'll take the Bengals.
Yeah. I'm going with Cleveland. I think what that Pittsburgh game showed last week for the Browns is that give the ball away run the ball every single play. Like Baker cannot throw it unless it's 3rd and 27 or something like that. So I'm going with Cleveland. They're going to get back to that ground and pound.
See, I could easily see Cleveland winning this game, but I feel like when the Bengals and Browns played the first time, Joe Mixon had not gotten going yet.
Right.
Joe Burrow was throwing, but T. Higgins had not emerged as much, and even A.J. Green came back from the grave last week. I don't know if he'll do that every week at his age after his injuries and all that stuff, but I think the Bengals might have just enough weapons to top the Browns, and then you get to hear for a solid week how ESPN and Fox will be panicking about the Browns, their new favorite team.
This could be a deciding game for Baker Mayfield, though. Like, he got benched last week. If he comes into this game and doesn't play very well and gets benched, that could be it. It could be Josh McCown's team from that.
There's a couple quarterbacks that are available before the trade deadline.
But I wouldn't even, if I was a Brown in the organization, I wouldn't even go after a free agent. I would ride with Josh McCown.
Yeah, he's
see
proven
what
it over
happens,
years.
and then look in the offseason because there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks, free agents next year.
I agree with that. Yeah, because Fitzpatrick, rather, going there would be Fitztragic. I mean, just really like it would not be. Because in Miami, he felt like it was his team.
Yes.
He owned it. He was a little upset getting benched. We'll get to that in a second. But, yeah, I think the Browns got to ride with who they have. And if they get worse, and, they can always draft another quarterback or get somebody in the offseason.
Exactly.
I mean, last free agency had, so many free agency quarterbacks that were better than every other year before.
Yeah.
When Peyton Manning got picked up by the Broncos, he was the first former MVP to hit free agency.
Yeah, because quarterbacks were franchised. Like, they weren't.
Now there's so many. Cam's been out there.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's time for trivia question.
Okay.
So, Kyler Murray became the 3rd player in NFL history to record 30 passing touchdowns and 10 rushing touchdowns within his first 25 career games, joining these 2 players. Now, one is an active player, one is not. I'll give you guys each one guess, and then I've got a hint I'll give you if you don't get it on that first guess.
So my active player would be Cam Newton.
Cam Newton? Okay, make your guess before I answer.
In the first 25 games,
In the first 25.
and it's, 30 and 10? 30 pass, 10 rush?
30 passing, 10 rushing, in 25 games.
I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson as an active player.
Okay,
You're picking up the buzzer.
For both of us?
both of you.
Oh,
Okay,
dang.
so here's your hint. Ready? One is the retired player. Okay. The other is a player who was a starter but is now on injured reserve.
All right. Is the retired? Can I go with the retired player?
Yes, you can guess either.
Is that Mike Vick?
Yeah, these are hard. I did not do well my first week, but I did pretty good my second week. On injured.
That was a humble brag. Did you hear him drop that? I did pretty good my second week.
Yeah.
Yeah. On injured reserve. Who's on injured reserve? Okay.
Oh, duh. Okay.
Give Antoine another guess.
Yeah, go for it.
Dak. Dak. Duh. As soon as you had to say injury reserve, I needed you to say it. And I was like, what?
And that brings us to the Cowboys Washington football team matchup.
hold on,
We have
hold
Hold
coming
on,
up.
who was the active player?
Who's the retired
Oh,
player?
you want to know?
Yeah.
All right. Dante Culpepper. Dante Culpepper.
Okay.
Who did?
Oh, okay, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Never
'Cause-
mind. Never mind. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, he's definitely retired.
Yes, without a doubt.
No, I said who's the active player, and you said Dante Cole.
No, Dak Prescott is the active
Yeah,
player.
that's why I got mixed up how you said it.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay. So Cowboys Washington football team. The Washington. So if you guys don't know this about Antoine, he is a Cowboys fan.
Yes.
So he is. So we brought him in for our extensive Cowboys coverage because before we even talk about the game, let's talk about the state of the franchise. Okay.
It's not a good one.
Yeah.
It's not a good state.
Well,
It's not one of the best 50. I'm gonna tell you that.
2 weeks ago today, it was a fantastic looking state, right? I mean, with Dak, he's still the league leader in passing yards for the
Right.
year, and
Yes.
he has already taken a game off.
They still had defensive problems, but
Yeah, but as far as offense, we were putting up
as
numbers.
far as offense,
We were putting
yeah,
up
y'all were
numbers.
ready.
We were putting up numbers.
So after Dak going down, you had to deal with that. Andy Dalton comes in. A lot of people probably objectively say he did not look good. Do you think that was just bad Andy, or do you think because Andy's usually bad in primetime?
Right.
Or
Yes, he is.
Or do you think he's going to look like that every game?
So I think when I list out the people to blame for that last Cowboys game against the Cardinals, Andy Dalton isn't top 5. Right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton wasn't great by any stretch of the imagination, but what chance did Andy Dalton have when Zeke fumbles twice in 3 plays, when your offensive line is all backups, like everybody's a backup, when the defense can't stop anybody?
Yeah.
Like, what chance does a average, because that's what Andy Dalton is, what chance does an average quarterback have?
and it sounds like some players came out and were saying terrible things about your coaching staff, so that's got to be in the top 5 too. most
Yeah,
likely.
they were saying that the coach, Mike Nolan, defense coordinator. They were saying that the coaches aren't teaching and that they aren't prepared.
Yeah.
But, when looking at the film and watching some of the sports talk shows or whatever, and they're pointing out, like, even if the coaches aren't teaching, what you're supposed to be doing, you aren't doing that either. So
Yeah.
it's hard to point fingers when you're making terrible mistakes too.
Yeah, I think that. What happened to Chris Richard?
Chris Richard.
Richard, sorry.
He just left with the old regime.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just left with the old regime. The issue with him was his defense didn't get a lot of turnovers.
Okay.
They weren't, and so that was an issue. That's been an issue with the Cowboys. Like, you have to get extra possessions, and his defense was not doing that. They were bend but don't break, but they weren't like change of possession, speed the game up kind. And so it just got played out. So everybody with Jason Garrett outside of Kellen Moore had to go.
Do you think that Jason Garrett, it hasn't gotten much better for him with the Giants.
No.
Do they need to fire a coach this year?
Yes, Mike Nolan needs to go.
Yeah.
He needs to go. It's just because defense is it's such effort and it's such heart.
Yeah.
If the defensive players don't believe in their leader, which would be the D coordinator, then how hard are they going to play? If they think that he's going to get fired at the end of the season, how hard are they going to play? Like, I'm not going to go out there and risk my next contract for somebody who's not going to be here anyway. So, yeah, I think he needs to go.
So a story that came out this week from Sports Illustrated with the Cowboys.
Right.
Happens a lot with locker rooms when they start not winning games. But the Cowboys are still winning their division even if they don't have that many wins.
Yeah. Yay us. No, it's just, and I think that's part of the problem too. At least for me as a fan, where I'm torn is like if my division, if the Cowboys division was good, was any good, then I would be okay. Let's just root for the tank. But now I'm like, there's still a chance to win, and then you make it into the playoffs. You don't know what'll happen.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of torn. I'm like, all right, let's keep winning? Question mark.
Do you really want to host the game and get blown out and in the playoffs?
It depends on. For trash talk purposes, I'm fine with that. Okay. I can say to the Eagles fans, football team fans, Giants fans, we won a division.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty heavy.
I think that the idea that there's this huge disconnect with Mike McCarthy and the new coaching staff already. Like, I agree. Get rid of the defensive coordinator.
Yes.
But it's too early to get rid of Mike McCarthy. Some people are calling for McCarthy to get fired already.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. But I will at least give McCarthy this. He's on to a backup quarterback. Mm-hmm. He's on to a backup everything, right? Yeah. And then they didn't have an offseason, a training camp. Even when he had Dak didn't get there until July 15th because of the franchise tag and all that. So while I'm annoyed with some of Mike McCarthy's play calling, like the fourth downs he was going for early in the season, not going for it, but the plays he was calling, because I don't think Kellen Moore was calling those plays. But I'm okay giving McCarthy some more time. I'm patient with him.
Yeah, I think especially once your starting quarterback goes down, you got to give the coach more time. It's almost like if you're not on the hot seat and you lose your starting quarterback, you just get that official mulligan card sent to you.
For the most part, yeah.
This year's a gimme.
You can't fire your coach and just expect that everything's going to get better because of it with a backup quarterback.
But this is the expectations with America's team, the Cowboys. I mean, look at the Washington football team. If you take away the names, starting quarterback is down for a very different reason. He got benched, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's the same. No one's talking about Ron Rivera getting fired at all. They're like, he's doing a great job.
And he's also, he's also a first-year head coach, too. Yes. I tell you what, I rarely say this, but when you said, take away the names of the teams, I would, give my kidney for that Washington football team defensive line. Defensive line, I would give up my firstborn.
And that actually brings me to my next point as we move to the game. The Washington football team is favored by 1. And I think it's because of the injuries on the Cowboys offensive line and that D-line on the football team.
Yeah, I mean, you have backup quarterback, that D-line is going to wreak havoc.
Yeah, I think...
And think about it.
Antoine, and I don't want to upset you, but because it's basically a 1-point game, I'm going to go ahead and pick first. I'm picking the football team. Yeah. I think they get their second win here, or they at least tie it and make me look stupid. But it feels like an upset's coming. But I also think the game is in Washington.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I think, but I also think that when Andy Dalton gets a shot or gets a line, I think he's going to look good. I mean, he's going to make $3 million base, and he can get up to $7 million with incentives. Money talks to the Red Rifle. Yeah. He moved to Texas. He didn't move there because he thought he'd get a good shot if Dak got hurt. Dak had never gotten hurt before. He moved there because he went to TCU, and there's no state taxes. He's like, okay, if I'm going to be a backup, I'm going to get that money, son. So, I mean, who do you guys think is going to win?
I'm going to have to go with the Redskins.
Party foul.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the football team. I just think that defensive line is going to cause a lot of problems.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't go with the football team. But being completely objective, the weapons that Andy Dalton currently has, and there are some rumors about a possible Michael Gallup trade to kind of try to help improve the Cowboys line. Because what in the grand scheme of things, what are the Cowboys going to do with 3 number 1 wides? Like that's a waste when you have so many holes in so many other places.
And so many so many teams could use Gallup because he's such a stretch the field guy.
Yes, and he is so clutch. But while Andy Dalton still has him, this is fingers crossed. If the Cowboys are able to give Andy Dalton some time, then he can really make the secondary of the Washington football team work. I really believe that because when Andy Dalton had A.J. Green, Tyler Boyd, and he had the third wide receiver who I can't think of right now.
John Ross, if you count it.
Before him.
Yeah,
like
he
Marvin
barely
Jones.
came on.
Yes. Is that his name?
Yeah, Marvin Jones before he went to Detroit. Yep.
Yeah. He was able to make some things happen. So I'm putting my hope and faith that the offensive line will be able to hold up to some degree. It ain't going to be able to stop Chase Young. He's already all pro in my opinion. Yeah. If the Cowboys don't beat themselves with the turnovers, then they have a chance of keeping it close and winning the game. I can't believe I just said keeping it close.
It's a bounce back game for the Red Rocket.
Gee, how far are we falling?
The Washington football team has a good chance to not beat anybody outside their division.
Oh yeah, I don't think they do because the division we're playing, the NFC West, they're not beating a single team in there. Yeah, no, I don't see that.
They kind of remind me of the Jeff Fisher Rams. A lot of years, the Jeff Fisher Rams wouldn't beat anybody. They'd get Mr. 8-8 or Mr. 7-9, but he would always beat the teams in his division.
Yeah.
Like he would beat San Francisco, he beat Seattle, even when Seattle was much better than them. It was like, hey, we're not going to the playoffs, but we beat you.
And that's how you keep your job.
Exactly.
You win your division or stay competitive in your division, you keep your job.
Or you be a coach that's already been with a moving franchise and the owner's
Also
afraid
true.
to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
But that's okay because you'll get Sean McVay away from the Washington football team.
And Kyle Shanahan, for that matter.
Kyle Shanahan. I mean, Jay Gruden's staff is filled with head coaches, and he is the offensive coordinator for the Jaguars. So
Which it's funny. Just
they
to
have
think-
one win.
to think about this, Jay Gruden's coaching tree may be better than
Jay.
Bill Belichick's coaching tree.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you're right. I mean, Belichick, the best disciple he has is the Titans' Mike Vrabel right now. I really think that. I mean,
Yeah, because we have to see what Brian Flores can do after when Tua starts and all of that. But
Bill O'Brien was the most successful, and he's fired.
it was terrible. Yeah, but Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay already been to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
All right, this brings us to trivia question number 3.
All right, I got
Ready?
this one.
I think right now the score is 2 for you because you had the Kellen Moore answer.
No, I had to kill
Yeah,
him.
Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
It's 1-1, I think.
I had Dak.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's 1-1.
All right, so let's go with this. Lamar Jackson has 7 career 100-yard rushing games.
Okay.
That's second most behind only this dual threat quarterback. If you guys can guess it on the first guess, great. If not, I've got a hint.
All right. Well,
Is this based off active or all time?
This is all time. This is not necessarily active. He has 7 career 100-yard rushing games.
Okay.
That's not very common
Yeah.
for a quarterback.
can I?
Yeah, you can go.
All right, I'm going Mike Vick. Thank you. I'm going my Hokies. That's what that
That's
was.
where I was going to go
I'm
with.
going
Too.
with Mike
I
Vick.
knew that if I kept doing these running questions and these left-handed
Mike
questions,
Vick would
Yeah.
be one of the answers.
When I asked, the reason I asked, is it all time or current quarterbacks, was because I was like, if it's Mike Vick, he's just going to repeat the question again.
the hint was going to be he is now a Fox analyst.
Yeah.
Which felt like, for
I
the
can't
knowledge
even-
of Mike Vick, that was like the lowest I could make it. He
Yeah.
works on Fox. Because I
Yeah.
actually had to Google if he was still on Fox. I don't watch their pregame.
So does that
Yeah,
count
he
if
is-
we both got it?
No, see, like Kellen Moore, if you guys want to do it that way, then he gets that one and you get Kellen Moore.
Okay.
Or you
work.
that's
Okay.
that's why I should try to get you guys to both answer, and then I'll tell you who got it right and wrong.
Okay.
But from now on, we got 2-1.
All right.
Okay.
So that takes us. That Mike Vick segue takes us to the Falcons game where they are hosting the Lions.
Oh boy.
2.5-point favorites. The Falcons are 2.5-point favorites. They've won a game.
Yeah.
There is a Lions fan at our office. You may see him on here one day if he ever gets off his ass about it. But he gave me a very good nugget as a Lions fan because they do not win a lot.
Correct.
He said he does not know the last time he saw the Lions win back-to-back games.
That's painful.
Yes,
That's
and
hurtful.
That is painful.
so the Falcons at home and favored. I've got a bad feeling about Matt Patricia's crew. What do you
Yeah.
guys think? I mean, are the Falcons going to win 2 in a row all of a sudden and just make it look like Dan Quinn was the problem?
I mean, the Falcons did play the Vikings, but I would take the Falcons again.
Yes, I'm going with the Falcons without any question. I think Matt Patricia is one of the most overrated.
Yeah,
he's
that's
not
what I was
even
gonna say,
rated high.
overrated.
Just how does he still have a job?
We
I
had
don't
high
understand that.
expectations coming out of New England,
Bill
and
Belichick,
it's
yeah.
just not panned out.
I think that the coaching change may get looked at by some, but I mean, anybody who plays fantasy knows this. The Falcons are going to win this game because Julio is on the field again.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley's had an insane year, but when Julio is on the field, Matt Ryan, basically, it's like they put a glass slipper on Matt Ryan as soon as Julio's on the field, and all of a sudden he is a princess because Ryan is terrible without Julio. Even
Yes,
if
he is.
Julio's not, even like those 3-year stretch he went on where Julio got a ridiculously low amount of touchdowns, it still makes Ryan's numbers look better. So I think we're all on the Falcons on this one.
Yeah, Calvin Ridley's good, but he's not good enough to change a football team. Julio Jones is going to
Yes.
make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question for you guys
Okay.
based off of the Falcons. And the simple yes or no would be Matt Ryan, Hall of Famer?
No.
Let's wait and see what he does with San Francisco next season.
Oh, you think that's right? You think
I think the new
you
coach.
think Kyle Shanahan's going to call his old boy Matt up? Like, hey, I know we lost the Super Bowl together, but can you come to San Francisco?
But between you and Jimmy Garoppolo, you actually do air it out at least. Yeah. You both have blown a Super Bowl with me, but I would like for the one
right.
that completes it. I'm just thinking that if Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't get it back together, Matt Ryan could easily find himself on free agency. He's at the 35-plus mark.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he could.
His contract's ridiculous.
Yeah, and whoever comes in as the new Falcons coach is going to get some leeway. That's a very patient owner. Arthur Blank gives you a lot of
he
time.
is.
You're not going to want to start that with Matt Ryan. I mean, unless you're like afraid to get fired. But I think unless they start winning a lot of games, that division's going to keep them where they can get a quarterback in the draft, go on that rookie deal, try to follow that same blueprint that worked for Seattle so well, like every other team is trying to do with the rookie deals. And then I think Matt Ryan's going to be the next MVP, former MVP, to hit the market.
All right. So, Hall of Fame. You have to say it today, though.
You're saying like as of this point,
Well, you
or like
have to project the rest of his career.
okay, yeah.
So
I'm still
you have to
saying
feel
no.
confident in that. If you say yes, that his career is gonna get better.
One MVP season. Let's say by the end of his career, he gets another one at best.
He
I don't think he will, but
Another
at best.
He
MVP
will
season.
not with these quarterbacks. Not with these young quarterbacks. No. Did Patrick Mahomes, Lamar, did Josh Allen, all of them? Because Josh Allen may get one.
If he's not doing it with Julio, who's he going to do it with? I'm going to say no.
All right.
Yeah.
Next question, real quick. Yes or no? Julio Jones, Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Yes.
I think Julio's a Hall of Famer.
I think Julio has a better chance, but I'm not ready to put him in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
I'm not. It's just something about him in the end zone. It's just something about him and his
Yeah,
lack
he did
of
have some
touchdowns.
rough years with that. I still think like as far as you just have to put him in a wide receiver category and say is he a Hall of Famer? And I think what he's done in his career
Comparatively to other wide receivers.
compared to the other wide receivers.
Yeah. He's only had one double-digit touchdown season. I feel pretty confident.
Man, yeah, that's...
But he's still such a presence. Like
So many
even if he's not
yards.
getting touchdowns, he's getting the team down the field.
That's true. I just don't. He's fringe for me. He's fringe. I would say no. Today I would say no because my Hall of Fame, it takes a lot to get in there.
I think even if Julio doesn't finish it with the Falcons, I think Julio gets a Super Bowl ring at some point.
Yeah.
I think because when
Like
you
a
get
third
older and you're
receiver.
that good, you can easily get on a team that's like a Chiefs or some team that's headed right for the Super Bowl, and you can get that ring, and that's going to pad his resume late.
Yeah, that's really what he needs.
Yeah.
He needs that Super Bowl.
And I think that'll get him over the top. So let's move on to Harrison's favorite team, the Panthers and the Saints.
Yeah.
Which one is your favorite?
Panthers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we spent most of these podcasts listening to Harrison talk about how he did not want them to win, but now that they're 3-3, he's given up and decided to be a fan and watch his team win games.
I didn't want him to win because I wanted Trevor Lawrence. So in the
stay in the
grand scheme, I
Carolinas.
wanted them to win.
They would have won down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Assuming Trevor Lawrence is as good as we have
yeah,
him.
but there's a lot of upside that you see
Yes,
in him.
without a doubt.
that-
Without a doubt.
Teddy Two Gloves, baby.
Yeah, well, Tay
Give
Douglas
him the
would
keys.
be a great like mentor. Yeah, great mentor.
Wait a
But
minute. Hold on. You just signed Teddy Bridgewater to what, this 3?
I didn't sign him.
I think he's
The
a
Panthers signed him for this 3-year deal
Yeah.
or whatever it was.
2 or 3, I can't remember.
And you give it up. You want him to take the season to get a new quarterback already?
Hey, Teddy's been a great
an
quarterback
expensive
for the
mentor.
Panthers. He's had great numbers, but Trevor Lawrence. I mean, you think of Teddy Bridgewater having maybe 4 or 5 more years, and Trevor Lawrence maybe having 10 more years.
Yeah. At
Yeah.
least.
You know what you want then.
I
Yeah.
so this logic is something that I've been fighting Broncos Twitter about pretty hardly.
Okay.
Because the Broncos did not beat the Jets. Then even after they beat the Jets, everyone's like, "Oh no, they need to lose. They need to get Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields." I'm like,
No.
Drew Lock has started 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, what do you guys... It was like a bunch of accounts said this too, so it wasn't just me, but a lot of media people were coming down on the fan base saying like, listen, why are you trying to start a rebuild in the middle of a rebuild?
Yeah.
We already building something.
Well, I think that's the difference between your team and my team is that y'all have a young quarterback that has a lot of upside.
Yes.
So in that situation, I'd be like, I don't want another another one. I don't want to be that team that gave up on a guy, see him go to another team and succeed.
Yeah.
And then you draft a guy that ends up just not turning out. But we have Teddy Bridgewater. He's older. He's had some severe injuries in his career. I want the young guy.
Antoine, let me ask you this while we have you here. We've talked about this before. I'm a personal believer that I don't think, and I think Harrison's on board, we don't think Trevor Lawrence will go first because it's always this quarterback that gets hyped. I mean, it worked out for Luck, but tank for Tua, Burrow goes first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who was going to get Sam Darnold? Baker goes first. Lately, people have been slightly off about who's going to have that senior year pop and get the first pick. He's a firm believer it's going to be Justin Fields.
No, I'm not.
Oh, I thought you said that previously.
No, I'm still Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, then I'm a firm believer it'll be Justin Fields.
My original thinking a month ago was that Trevor Lawrence would not go first because the Jets would probably be picking. And I'm like, they have Sam Darnold. They don't need Trevor Lawrence.
I can see that logic, yeah.
But Trevor Lawrence would be the first quarterback.
Yeah. Oh, without a shadow
now,
of a doubt.
everything I'm hearing, it sounds like in New York, they just want to get rid of Sam Darnold and move on to Trevor Lawrence.
Well, the media wants to get rid of Sam Darnold and move on to Trevor Lawrence. We have no idea what Crazy Eyes Gase is thinking.
Well, Gase isn't going to be there.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
It's really on what Douglas decides to do. But to answer your question, if I were a betting man, I would bet that Trevor Lawrence would be the number one pick.
It'll be hard for him to lose.
Definitely the first quarterback. It's that Andrew Luck. He's been built up to that Andrew Luck stature.
Yeah.
Where there was no way that Andrew Luck was not going before RG3.
I think Trevor Lawrence could survive an injury and still be the first pick. I think that separates him from Tua.
Well, I think
Tua
especially this year with not a full season, with this COVID shortened season, I feel like there's as long as you don't come out and look bad in one of your 4 games. I mean,
he just beat a team that is actually, I mean, they're not great, but they're not terrible. Georgia Tech, 73-7.
Well, that's what he's
on
been
the
doing.
road.
He's been doing that since he was 10 years old.
I know.
In diapers, that's what Trevor Lawrence doesn't have close games.
Yeah, so you kind of have to believe in him and think that he's going to be the guy.
Bleacher Report had this image, and I have not been able to confirm it anywhere, so I'm going to go ahead and label it fake news. But they had an image that had a Trevor Lawrence quote saying, "I'm not going to that garbage team, the Jets."
It was fake.
It was definitely fake.
Yeah. He said,
Trevor
"My team could beat the Jets," and I'm like, "No." I was in a message group with some friends, and they posted that, and they were all just trashing Trevor Lawrence and talking about it, and I'm like, "Guys,
there's no way.
There's
absolutely no way.
That would
have led ESPN.
That's the only way he doesn't get drafted first overall is when you make a bad character decision like that, because people remember Ryan Leaf.
Yeah,
they remember guys like that with bad character.
I saw that quote on an Instagram page that was fake Instagram NFL.com. So
No, I don't think there's any chance that Trevor Lawrence doesn't go first. Now, well, if he's healthy, if he's hurt, then I think it does matter which team is drafted first.
I think we're far enough into the season.
My fear if the Jets get the first pick, which they probably will, if they get the first pick and Trevor Lawrence is hurt, my fear is that the New York media would rush him to try to come back from that injury to play.
Very true.
And that would be a concern of mine. Now, I mean, they may still take him, but he's built like a house.
Yeah.
I don't see him getting hurt.
I saw today for the first time a New York Jets jersey with Trevor Lawrence's name on it.
Oh my God.
They're already starting to customize their jerseys.
Sam Darnold is too good for them. You know what I'm saying? Sam Darnold, the Jets are not good, but watching a game when the Broncos played them, I just watched the Broncos defense in back-to-back weeks with pass rushers no one's heard of.
Right.
Play against Cam Newton and the Patriots and play against Sam Darnold and the Jets. Sam Darnold looked like a better quarterback than Cam Newton is right now.
Did Sam Darnold play or did Joe Flacco play?
Darnold played. Flacco played after that.
Okay. No, Sam Darnold got hurt halfway through the game.
No, but he came back in. He finished the game.
But Joe Flacco did.
But Flacco got in there.
Flacco had most of the second quarter, I think. He had maybe 2 drives for them.
Okay.
And then so Sam Darnold he got hit on that shoulder. He went away and I thought he was gone for the game and he came back in. I thought it showed some grit. Him and Jason Crowder. I think this might be a hot take, but I think if the Giants had the first pick, it's much more likely that Daniel Jones is on the outside looking in and Trevor Lawrence goes to New York Giants than the Jets replacing Sam Darnold, because the GM with the Jets has more time and he'll bring in a new coach. But I think the GM for the Giants is canned. I think Gettleman's done. He has made some bad decisions, and I mean, Joe Judge will probably get to pick a GM, and they'll try to pair him that way. But I think Gettleman almost got fired last offseason. He's not going to be there, and Daniel Jones was his guy. He wasn't Joe Judge's guy.
I disagree with that just because I feel like I've seen more correctable mistakes out of Daniel Jones than I've seen out of Sam Darnold.
Really?
Daniel Jones, his biggest issue is the fumbling. That's his biggest issue. Yeah. And we've seen time and time again football players improve on that. Tiki Barber, being a New York Football Giant, a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
Like, you learn how to not fumble as much. Daniel Jones has the arm. He has the mobility. Sam Darnold, while he's making mistakes on the field, his lack of durability is also playing a big role. I think with the
that
Giants,
mono thing really hurts him.
With
I mean, like it sounds stupid to say out loud, but he's the only quarterback we've ever heard of that get mono.
And I think like what you said, like the Jets will have a new coach. The Giants probably have a new GM.
Yeah.
Joe Judge, if he's a Daniel Jones guy, is going to keep Daniel Jones there. The coach that they bring in to the Jets will automatically say whether he wants Sam Darnold or another one. So I think Daniel Jones has a safer position.
I think this is my other hot take to go with that. Whether it's Daniel Jones or Sam Darnold, if I'm the Browns, I'm trying to trade for one of them. So I can give some competition to Baker, have two guys on rookie deals.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold's perfect because that's the guy they should have took if Dorsey wasn't their GM and believed in guys with swagger.
I agree with that. I thought you were going to say that they should offer up Baker Mayfield. Because I would think about that on both sides. I think that could be a positive on both sides.
Trade Sam Darnold for Baker Mayfield, have him be the backup to Trevor Lawrence?
Well, wait a minute. That's not going to. You're not putting that attitude as a backup quarterback.
No, like one of those teams wins too many games and they bring in Baker Mayfield because the Browns are moving him off.
Yeah,
a trade.
Yeah.
I was just kidding.
Baker fits that New York City state of mind with the swagger.
Oh, yeah, without
It's not very Cleveland. It's very much New York.
And you don't have to win in New York anymore. You can just have swagger and lose. So
he's an LA or a New York guy.
The Knicks guaranteed that. You don't have to win there anymore. You just have to be there. So back to the Panthers Saints. Saints are 7.5-point favorites, but I don't know. As the Panthers fan, I'm going to lean to you on this one. 51-point over-under.
I will take the over.
Okay.
They usually have a high-scoring game, and usually the Saints beat up on the Panthers. They're big rivals. So I will take the Saints covering.
I really kind of want to make my pick contingent on if Michael Thomas plays.
He left practice early today.
He did?
Yeah.
He
left practice early.
I'm leaning for the Panthers to cover. I don't know. I don't think they win outright, but with 7.5 points on the Saints, Drew Brees is he had one good deep pass in the last 2 games.
Yeah, his arm is shot.
So I think the Panthers can at least lose closer. I think they'll lose by maybe a touchdown. I think that 0.5 saves them. So I'm going to go Panthers just for the points.
Yeah, I'm going Panthers just because of the points too. Question for you.
Okay.
Mike Davis.
Yeah.
His, I don't want to say resurgence because his emergence, I should say. What do you do with Christian McCaffrey now? Like with all that you're paying him, actually not what do you do with him? That's a bad question.
Yeah, you still use him.
Do you feel regretful of giving him all that money?
Christian McCaffrey all that money?
Yeah. Not just seeing what his backup is doing.
No. I mean, Christian McCaffrey is a freaking beast.
He is.
And I think just having Mike Davis helps even more.
Okay.
It gives you that third down, or not third down back, but power back that you really need that Christian McCaffrey really isn't. I mean, Christian McCaffrey is more of a, third down back where he can become a pass receiver.
Yeah.
I think Matt Rule needs to start drawing up 2 running back packages immediately.
Yeah.
Yes, he has to.
Because I think that would throw off defense big time, not knowing are you going to get beat right out the middle, or are you going to have a pass out to the right, or are you going to have Christian McCaffrey juking everyone out of their ankles?
Because then the Panthers can go back to the old D'Angelo Williams, Mike Tolbert days when they had Cam Newton.
Yeah.
When they had all those running backs back there.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, what a flashback.
And then you have the threat of Teddy Bridgewater.
And I think that those 2 running backs outside of Teddy are the 2 of their 3 best offensive weapons. I guess Teddy's not technically a weapon; he's the quarterback. But I think Robbie Anderson, it's Christian. It's probably this year because Christian McCaffrey had a high ankle sprain. It's probably Robbie Anderson, Christian McCaffrey, and then Mike Davis, right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, DJ Moore's a close third, but
DJ Moore has been really disappointing this year.
I'm waiting for him to break out.
As someone who has lost money on DraftKings, DJ Moore is garbage right now. Okay, He's like $100 cheaper than Robbie Anderson, or like $200 or $300 cheaper on DraftKings. And you think, okay, I'm going to save some money here, and they'll produce the same. And then Robbie Anderson gets all the points because he played with Matt Rule in college, and he can stretch the field, and Teddy can get him the ball.
Yep.
Another player that escaped Adam Gase in New York or in Miami and looks better without him.
Yep.
I really think Tannehill is the reason Gase gets fired.
because of how well he's doing in Tennessee.
Tannehill looks like getting rid of Gase made him a potential MVP. He's on pace. He's on pace to be competing with Russell Wilson for that right now.
Because Tannehill, he was at Texas A&M, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
And he was converted wide receiver to quarterback.
Yes, and he looked fairly decent as a quarterback there.
Yeah.
And so I was a little surprised when he didn't play the way he's playing now in Miami, but we see what the problem is.
Coaching.
Is Tannehill the best quarterback from that first round? It was Andrew Luck, RG3. Tannehill went like 8 to the Dolphins. Now that it's all worked out, everyone thought Luck would be the best, and Luck was the best until he retired.
There one more? Jake Locker, wasn't he one?
Oh, he went to Tennessee.
Yeah,
Jake
he
Lock?
went to Tennessee.
Yeah, he was from Washington, but he never panned out to
No,
do
not
anything.
at all.
Yeah.
No. He's a guy that stayed 1 year too long. If he had gone out the year before,
That's when he should have went. He would have been number one pick that year.
he would have been the number 1 pick, and it was before the new CBA. He would have made that freaking Sam Bradford money.
That's what it was, yeah.
The $50 million or whatever.
Sam
it was.
Bradford made so much money and did so little.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tannehill is the best side of that.
I think so too. I have a good friend who's my college roommate who's a Dolphins fan, and so I've watched a lot of Tannehill. And even when they were bad, he showed promise. So when he hit the free agent market, I was over there wearing my Broncos jersey going, come on, please, please. He could be the next Jake the Snake Plumber. Get him in free agency, please. But
Yeah, no, he's doing his thing right now.
oh my gosh. Okay, so we move on to the Bills and Jets. Ironic because we kind of already explored the Jets roster
have.
pretty thoroughly.
Yeah.
The Bills, I mean, is this their get-right game? They are 13-point favorites right now over the Jets, which I don't know. I wouldn't bet on this game because I feel like if the Jets win a game, it's going to be a division game. They're going to beat somebody in their division, and I think the Bills could be that team because if Allen is that kind of quarterback that lets it get in his head, right now he's not getting that praise. He's just had 2 bad games. He's not looking good. He loses to the Jets, all of a sudden, like, the entire narrative on him changes.
Yeah.
So I could see the Jets winning this game, but there's no way in hell I'm putting any money on it.
I'm not touching the game with this big of a point spread. Could the Buffalo Bills be the 2019 Dallas Cowboys? And this is why I asked that, because the Dallas Cowboys last year, they started off 3-0, 3-1, whatever. It looked like world beaters.
Yeah.
But the teams they played weren't great. And then they dropped one in a row. They dropped another one in a row. And their get-right game, as you said, was the New York Jets. And they lost that game, too, because they were looking past it for the Saints game. That was that following week. So there's no way I touch it. I can't pick the Jets. I can't pick a team that hasn't won to win until they do.
I can't pick the Jets either, but like Ian says, I wouldn't bet on this one. I mean, I do think the Bills will win.
To Antoine's point, the Jets this week, Patriots next week.
Yeah, that's going to be a big matchup.
They're already looking past them.
Yeah.
This I think you're right. I think this has got the painting. It's right on the wall. This is for the Jets to do it. This is it. This is the game for Adam Gase to not get fired.
Yeah. And the Giants
This
just came
week.
off their win.
This week. For him not to get fired this week. He's getting
Yes.
fired.
Yeah.
For him not to get fired.
He's getting fired.
He's not to laugh, but you know
He'll get another job. He's doing all right. He'll be all right.
he'll be an offensive coordinator. He needs to stop being a head coach.
Yeah.
I don't know, this whole quarterback whisperer thing.
I haven't seen it.
I'm telling you. I mean,
Peyton Manning? Who needed somebody to whisper to Peyton Manning?
yeah, but Peyton Manning's the reason he got the Jets job.
I know what I'm saying, because
It's
he's
like,
a quarterback whisperer for Peyton Manning.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. Yeah, you were there for Peyton Manning's best year ever statistically. Okay. All right, so you know how to call plays when all your pieces are perfect.
Yes.
That doesn't show you can develop players. Peyton Manning was already there. Packers, Texans. Now, the Packers are coming off of an embarrassing Tom Brady smackdown that Aaron Rodgers was quoted as saying that's what the team needed. They needed to wake up a little bit. The Packers are still favored by 3.5. The game is in Houston. Houston won with Romeo Crennel, and it looks like Houston is a much better team. They should have beat the Titans. They blew that game. The Titans getting to overtime on that game was them blowing it last week.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it looks like since Romeo Crennel came in, they figured out, oh, wait, we paid Brandon Cooks money, so we should use him
Yes.
in the offense.
For my fantasy team, please use him.
Yes, please, in my flex. Because I had him sitting for that 30-point game.
I had him in just because I was running out of options.
I quit.
Like injuries. I'm running out of options here.
I had quit on him. I didn't have any injuries yet. I kind of wish I had. But I think Brandon Cooks being involved, the Texans will put up points. unless the Packers defense shows up a lot better than it did last week, this could be a shootout. 57's the over-under.
That's a lot of points.
Yeah, it's a lot of points.
That's a ton of points.
I mean, but Deshaun Watson is finally starting to click a little bit once because, Bill O'Brien getting fired makes sense because he got fired for being a bad GM. He didn't get fired if he had only stayed the coach and said, no, I don't want to be the GM, find a GM, and he hadn't made that Hopkins trade, I think he'd still have his job.
Yeah, because him being a bad GM caused them to lose the games, which made him seem like a bad coach.
Yeah.
But those games were also some of the toughest. I mean, they had some pretty tough opponents at the beginning, so it's like
they had the toughest schedule.
Yes, I mean it's got to get easier, and Deshaun Watson's going to keep showing up, but I don't think the Packers can drop 2 in a row.
No, they can't.
That's my thing. They can't lose 2 in a row, and I don't want to see what a woke up Aaron Rodgers is.
You're going to see it this week.
Well, yeah.
You're going to see it this week.
But I don't want to know what that is.
You're going to see it this week. He's throwing for 5 touchdowns. Book it right now. He's throwing for 5 touchdowns, no turnovers.
Oh my gosh.
Well, then I'm going to take the over.
Then I'm going to take the over. Yeah,
he's throwing for 5.
If I was a betting man, Packers at 3.5, I would take that line
easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
It almost feels like a constant. It almost feels like a classic Vegas trick, like where they put those soft lines because they know something you don't on like an offensive or defensive line matchup. But I don't know. It feels like the Packers are going to win that game. We'll see. Now let's move on to the game that a lot of people are saying is the game of the season so far. After the Bills and Chiefs were so disappointing because that was the game of the season. So I mean, every week we can have a new game of the season.
Right.
The Steelers and Titans. This isn't even a trivia question. I'll give you this one for free. This is the first time 2 undefeated teams have met this late in the season, I believe.
Which is crazy because they were supposed to play earlier in the season.
Yes. It's almost like it got moved. That stat almost feels forced because they moved this game.
Yeah, it doesn't seem real.
But the Titans are at home, and they're favored by 1.5, but the Steelers don't look stoppable because Big Ben, I mean, we mention this every week, but it bears repeating. He looks 5 years younger.
He looks really young.
He looks good. He is throwing. He's having fun. I didn't know Big Ben could still smile. After that motorcycle crash, I didn't know if I'd seen him smile before, and all of a sudden now he's happy. Usually it was just holding his leg, barely getting off the field, and just staying in the pocket and hoping no one knocked him down again.
Yep.
But we already talked about Tannehill. Tannehill is playing like a bat out of hell. Derrick Henry is the king. I mean, it's just crown him like.
And the Steelers just lost Devin Bush.
And yes,
huge loss to their defense.
That's going to be really tough for
linebacking core trying to stop.
Yeah.
Jonnu Smith is going to go off.
Yeah.
If he plays, or they're going to throw it to that friskier guy. I'd never heard of him before, and he went off last week. Of course.
I think with the Steelers defense, even though they won't have Devin Bush, that defense, they get to the quarterback so much, and I know Tennessee's a running offense. I'm going with Pittsburgh. I'm going with Pittsburgh on it.
I am going with Tennessee. And my reason is they have had 3 games, I think, that they've won at a last-second field goal. Mm-hmm. And then last week they had to go to overtime and pull it out.
Right.
They know how to play tight games, and they know how to play tough games, and they know how to pull it out. They know how to win.
That's true.
And I get both teams are undefeated. That's kind of a weird statement, but they know how to win when the game's on the line.
Yeah.
Mike Vrabel is playing so smart. I mean, taking the penalty and just giving them the first down because he needed the timeout.
I watched the
Very
video.
smart.
I watched the video on that. And I watched the video when he did it years before, and people were like, what is he doing? He's the worst coach ever. But now to see the reasoning behind it, like, okay, that's really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Vrabel, I mean, there's something special going on in Nashville. I'm feeling – so you guys have really good logical reasons, and I'm just going to be straight up. I'm feeling Tennessee this year, and I'm just riding with them.
This year?
Well, I mean, not all the way to the Super Bowl.
Okay,
but
that's what I was going to ask.
But, we don't live that far from Nashville. I've been to Nashville. I've seen the Titans in person. I've been amongst the fans in the stadium. Oh, I'll tell that story another time. I mean, it was, you remember a couple years ago, that New Year's Eve where it was frigid?
Yes.
Yeah, I was outside at a game in Nashville.
No, thank you.
Yeah, it was not.
No, thank you.
I
That's
had
why big screen TVs for.
Exactly.
I had a couple thoughts that we might
Fly
die.
roof.
My phone died before we could get our Lyft or Uber to come get us. And we were literally walking around the parking lot for like an hour in that freezing cold. I'm like, this might be how we die.
That's it. Yep. Titanic.
But I'm just feeling the Titans, and I think at home, even without fans, I don't know. I think they have what it takes to run the ball especially with Devin Bush out and a couple injuries on the Steelers. I just think they'll be able to run the ball with Derrick Henry, control the clock, and edge them just barely. That 1.5 line, though, actually does make me nervous because I think it's going to be very close.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to take the Titans in the 1.5 and hope they win by 2.
And see, in a close game, I'm taking Big Ben over Tannehill. In
Really?
a close game, I think Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell were aging Ben Roethlisberger. I'm not a Ben Roethlisberger fan, but I think the stress of going into that locker room during halftime, at the end of the games, making sure Antonio's not upset, making sure Le'Veon's happy. I think that wore Big Ben day. He's finally happy.
Where do we think Antonio Brown goes while we're talking about it? Because, I mean, it looks like his suspension might end soon. There's a lot of talk about Seattle being involved. He's been working out with Russell Wilson. I mean, that seems like the clear one, so we don't really have to talk about the Seahawks. But any other teams you think that could make a play for AB that he's going to go there? Because I feel like some of his tweets and stuff within the past 3 months or so, it looks like he finally woke up from whatever got shook loose in his head by Vontaze Burfict. Because, I mean, around that time, his decision-making got poor. I'm not even making a joke. They should do a study and make sure AB's okay in the head.
They will, eventually.
Oh, God. But is there any other teams you guys think might? I mean, Bruce Arians already said once, I'm not bringing him in. They don't really have space for him if their guys are healthy. I mean,
there's not a team that comes to my mind, really. I mean, everything seems like Seattle because that's where I feel like he wants to go since he's been working out with Russell Wilson. He's built a connection with him. So that would be my team.
Just jumping off the top of my head, and I have no reason to think this, and it just popped in my head just now. What about the Texans?
That's very
Because
interesting.
you have Romeo Crennel, who's very well respected.
Yeah.
You have Deshaun Watson, who is without a shadow of a doubt the leader of that team, respected by everybody in the organization. That's a team where Antonio Brown, and for money purposes, it's in Texas, no state tax. So
yeah, I would have also said maybe Baltimore. Just thinking they need some receiver there, but they just signed Dez Bryant
to the practice squad.
to it. That's what I was about to say. Yeah, they're trying to work Dez in.
Yeah.
I think, and this is, I'm going to go out on a limb also. I've got no information on this, but what about the 49ers?
See, I thought about them.
Yeah.
My issue with them is Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Because he's not able to get loose.
Would AB even want to go there?
Exactly. Like this is a running offense where I'm going to get 5 and 7 yard routes type stuff. I don't think he'd.
I could also see No, there's probably no return to the Raiders. I mean, him and Mayock had some real bad blood. But I think Sean McVay, so, they lost Brandon Cooks. They still have Cooper Kupp and they still have Robert Woods, but they were a lot better team when they had all 3 wide receivers that were doing well. They haven't had anybody step up to that number 3 role. I think AB could look really good across from Robert Woods, and we know that AB would love to be in LA. So that's the only reason I think he goes to the Rams, but I think Seattle definitely looks like the winner right now.
Yeah. Imagine AB, and we don't have to go down this road because I don't want to give you a heart attack, but imagine AB in Kansas City.
I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it.
Imagine him in
but
Kansas
I was like,
City. Because him and Le'Veon was close.
My first thing was going to be the Chiefs because they're signing everyone.
They can't have any more money. Yeah. I'm losing my mind over here.
The dream team.
They've been out of cap since before they gave Mahomes their contract, and somehow they keep signing everybody, man.
Because the cap is a myth. In the grand scheme of things, if you get a GM that knows what they're doing, the cap is a myth.
Yep. The cap really is a myth. This brings us to our next trivia question. Ready?
All right.
Ready.
Kenyon Drake has 12 rushing touchdowns since making his debut with the Cardinals in Week 9 of last year. So we're going from Week 9 of last year on. Only 2 running backs have more touchdowns than him. Can you name one? Antoine, you went first last time. I'll give you a go.
During that period?
During that period.
Okay.
Since Week 9 of last year, only 2 running backs in the league have more rushing touchdowns in that time.
One's got to be Derrick Henry.
All right, so I'll let you try to guess the other one.
Okay, this is going to be the harder one of the two because that was the easy one.
That was the easy one.
So the harder one of the two, 12.
I did have a guy, I ran this by somebody yesterday, and he actually did get both of them. So, lean on your fantasy advice. I'll give you that hint. Lean on a fantasy running back you might be aware of. Well, I guess that makes sense because running backs with rushing touchdowns.
Can I try?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Go.
Is it Christian McCaffrey? No.
See, that would
Hasn't played all year.
if he wasn't hurt.
But he
that was gonna
did
be my
so
guess.
much last year.
But
Oh, you thought it was another Dak Prescott trick.
But
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you specified rushing touchdowns, that's when I was like, all right, it's not gonna be
Because he does so many passing touchdowns. Okay, yeah.
Oh, I didn't
I'm
hear
gonna,
that part.
I'm
yeah.
gonna go.
It's a team, and I'll tell you, it's a team we have already talked about.
Well, we've already talked about.
It's a team we've already gone through their matchup.
Because I was gonna say Lamar Jackson.
Oh, can I go?
Oh, no, it's a running back. It's a running back.
Okay.
I think I got it.
All right, go ahead.
Alvin Kamara.
All right. I don't know who is it.
It's an NFC running back.
Is it Dak Prescott? Or not Dak Prescott,
Is it
sorry.
the 49ers running back? I can't. Raheem. I don't know how to pronounce his
Raheem
last name.
Mostert?
Yeah.
No. It is Aaron Jones.
Oh, I thought about him.
Aaron Jones. That is the
I
dark
had him
horse
on
one.
my fantasy squad last year. He led me to a championship.
I thought about him, but I was like, no, I saw some stat the other day that they're like struggling in rushing this year. So
I would not have gotten that one, but I did. I talked to somebody yesterday, and I knew everyone would get Derrick Henry. I had a feeling you guys would get Derrick Henry, but Aaron Jones, I thought, okay, if Antoine pulls this out, I'm just going to give him the rest of the question. He just wins it.
I had
This
him
is
on
a
my
tough
fantasy
one.
team. I should have done. I should have went there.
We got one more question to tie it up. I think it's tied up now, 2-2.
Yeah, 2-2.
yeah.
Like we planned it, but we didn't. So, speaking of the Seahawks, as we did with Antonio Brown, they're playing the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are one of those teams that I like to reference as they know how to play in their division. Mm-hmm. They beat the 49ers, who were off of a Super Bowl appearance, just like, what was that, the first game of the season? So, I mean, the Cardinals beat the Cowboys because they're adjusting to Andy Dalton, and there's, Dak dropped the ball. A lot of things had to happen, but Kyler Murray didn't look great in that game throwing
9
wise.
of 24, I think.
Yeah, like not good. So Seattle, on the other hand, is undefeated and does look very good.
Yeah.
I mean, Seattle's 3.5-point favorites in Arizona. Who do you guys have?
I'm going to take Seattle just because I know we all started really hot on the Cardinals those first two games,
Yeah.
but since then it just hasn't looked like they've gotten it together. I mean, Kyler Murray's a good quarterback, but I don't think he's there yet.
Yeah.
I don't think he's there enough to beat Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I think Kyler Murray's a very good athlete.
Yeah.
He's a very good athlete trying to learn how to play quarterback. I will say that. So I'm going with the Seahawks. So make sure that's on the record.
Okay.
This game will not tell me how good the Seahawks are.
Yeah.
The Seahawks being whatever their record, undefeated, whatever they are, I still don't know how good they are because of who they've beaten to become this. Because their defense is not great at all. It's Russell Wilson or bust. And so I'm going with the Seahawks, but I'm interested to really find out. Like, I would put the Seahawks below Green Bay. I'd put them below Tampa Bay.
Wow.
Until I see them beat somebody or play somebody worth anything, I just can't do it.
I think that I agree with both of you. I think that the Seahawks, I don't think I'm putting the Seahawks quite on the level with the Titans and the Steelers, which I think would give a little bit of credence to that game of the week thing, but
Yeah.
we know how that always pans out. Seahawks, yeah, they're 5-0. Cardinals, really only one game back because they haven't had their bye, but like Harrison's right. They're not as good. You're right. Kyler Murray's not as much of a thrower as he thought we would be. He's a runner right now. He's a very small Cam Newton at this moment.
Yeah.
Like early Cam Newton, not MVP season.
The 80-yard touchdown against the Cowboys, he almost overthrew that. Christian Kirk caught it with his fingertips.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So
I'm actually I'm gonna go with the Seahawks for this one because I'm fading the Cardinals on all levels. I'm even starting to fade them on Madden. Madden's even made them. The defense is too bad on Madden, where I couldn't stop somebody the other day who literally would just. Oh, I was so frustrated. He would just put 4 wide receivers out with Tom Brady and then just run with Ronald Jones up the middle, and nothing would stop it. It was such a glitch play. It was a glitch. I'm like, they have no defensive line in Arizona, so I was like trying to run with Kyler Murray. He couldn't complete a pass on the freaking game either.
yeah, he's rough.
So I'm going with the Seahawks just for those personal
Thank
reasons.
you for Madden logic.
I just, you guys are giving really good logical answers, and I'm just coming over here with this wild card logic.
I like it.
This Charlie Day right here.
Someone's got to do it.
Yes.
So 49ers, Patriots, which, a year ago would have been a much better game.
Yeah. But I think it's going to be a really good game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if good is the word, but because they're so not great, it's going to make it a better game. They're going to compete very well.
Now, Raheem Mostert will not be in this game. Tevin Coleman does not appear to be on track to be back for this game. They're down to Jerick McKinnon and Jeff Wilson Jr. for the 49ers. Cam Newton is back. I mean, but as somebody who watched the Broncos game last week, which, trust me, we can do the rest of the podcast on it. I had a great time. I was alone in my apartment yelling obscenities. Just as loud as I could, talking smack about crap.
And my phone just kept buzzing, and it was like, Broncos this, Broncos that. I was like, I'm at a wedding.
Stop talking to me.
He's joking. He keeps his phone on silent. Anyway, but, I think the Patriots have all the pieces back. They get this game at home, but they just lost at home.
Yeah.
But the 49ers are really beat up. I don't think Belichick loses 2 in a row with Cam. But Cam has got to get more accurate with some of these passes.
I don't think Bill Belichick loses to Jimmy G.
That's fair. Because he knows Jimmy G well.
I don't think he loses to Jimmy G. I think he is going to scheme, and maybe he was looking past, which would be hard to believe for Bill Belichick, but maybe he wasn't thinking about the Broncos and already scheming things for Kyle Shanahan's offense, because that's an offense that's harder to scheme for than the Denver Broncos. No offense.
No offense taken. I would say I disagree with that only because the game got pushed and it was literally, he had 2 weeks to work on it.
That's true.
So it's
that's true.
He had to look at it at some point.
Yeah.
But I think that, if Cam Newton and the Patriots lose this game, prepare for that overreaction theater with the Browns for the rest of the week. If you tune into any other types of sports media, which I'm sure you do, you're going to get sick of hearing. Is Bill Belichick washed? Was it all Tom Brady?
Yep.
Because they'd be 2-4 if they lose, right?
Yeah.
2-4 right now.
Yeah, they're 2-3 right now. If they win the game, 49ers will be 3-4 and they'll be 3-3 because they lost a week.
So I really want to take the 49ers in this one so bad.
Do it.
Everything in me is
Do
like,
it.
I can't
I don't know
trust,
how, but do it.
I can't trust Cam.
Oh, well.
That is a Panthers fan for you right there.
Exactly.
That's experience.
That's exactly what that is.
And
That's
an
what that
Auburn
is.
fan. He's a big Auburn
No,
fan.
no.
too.
No, you could trust him
I
in
can
Auburn.
trust him at Auburn.
I thought
Don't
I had
even
him.
go there.
He's
I thought I had
arguably
him.
the best college football player of all time at Auburn.
He was a better receiver than most of the receivers in the SEC that year.
You got to look at it.
And Julio Jones was in the
riled up.
SEC that year.
Talk about Auburn.
Riled
up.
Hey, but you just brought up a really good point. In the Broncos game, when they couldn't move the ball at all on offense, they were literally having Edelman throw to Cam because they don't have a receiver who's big enough to help him out. He doesn't have that Kelvin Benjamin type.
Nothing.
Yeah.
No.
What happened to Kelvin Benjamin? Is he alive?
He's overweight. And out of the league.
He's out of the league.
God, that's a guy. Him and Josh Norman, put them on the list of players that should have never left Carolina.
They didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Neither one of them. Neither one of them had a choice. Gettleman got them both out of there.
So the Cam Newton, and I can't trust him, but the Patriots are the safe choice.
Yeah,
I think
they are.
being at home, having Bill Belichick scheming, 49ers are all injured. You got to go with the Patriots.
Yeah.
Hard to bet
It's
against.
just Jimmy G. Just Jimmy G. I can't bet on him.
Yeah.
That's also thing.
That's true. And all of his backups have kind of been exposed now. There's no Nick Mullins magic to lean back on. There's no CJ Beathard might take us there. None of that's happening. Well, the Chiefs-Broncos game is next. And as happy as I was last week, there's no homer in me that is confident about this game. The last time the Broncos beat the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes was throwing touchdowns for Texas Tech, and Drew Brees was a very early on starter at Missouri. I mean, it's 9 straight the Chiefs have beat the Broncos. We have not beat the Chiefs in so long. I don't know if I plan on watching this game because it might.
Watch it.
You have to
gotta
watch
it.
I'm gonna have to. It's gonna make my blood boil. I hate the Chiefs so much. I mean, on Thursday night last season, the Broncos Mahomes got hurt early, and they still lost.
They lost bad.
They didn't even. It's not even Mahomes. It's the whole team. The Broncos do not have the inside linebacker depth to stop Travis Kelce. He's gonna run all over us. Tyreek Hill might get something. Our corners are good. I think we can stop without Sammy Watkins. I think we can kind of contain the wide receivers, but I think we do really good against the run. Those are our 2 best chances at the Chiefs for the Broncos. The 2 best chances are to stop the run and keep wide receivers from catching it. But Travis Kelce's just going to go everywhere.
Yeah.
And that the secondary is eventually going to break down and Mahomes is going to get it. Now, here's the question for the podcast, because I don't need to cry here. I can do that in public or in private. I'm going to do it in private. 9.5-point favorites for the Chiefs. Now, do the Broncos play them closer? Because the Chiefs this season do have a narrative of teams in their division have beat them or played them close. They almost lost to the Chargers. They lost to the Raiders.
Yeah.
Whether the Broncos are as good as the Raiders or which one of those teams is better? It's too early to see. They haven't played each other. They haven't played a lot of the same people quite yet. But last season, if you're looking at how it finished, the Broncos were technically better last year than the Raiders. A game better, but better. So by that logic, this could be a good line for some people to make some money if they think the Broncos are going to lose close. That's how I would say. I'm not going to go as far to say as they win. I hope they win.
Please don't.
I hope they win,
Yes,
but
you should.
But logically, I can't say they'll win.
So I'm taking the Chiefs, but I think the Broncos have a lot of confidence right now coming off 2 wins. I have it a close game. I can't see it being a blowout.
What do the Broncos do when the Chiefs come out in a wishbone with Patrick Mahomes, with the rookie running back behind him, Tyreek Hill,
and
Le'Veon Bell on the right of them? What
That's right,
what
Le'Veon
do
Bell.
you do? And then they play action it and throw it to Travis Kelce over the top. What the hell will the Broncos do with that?
You really hope that Bradley Chubb's ACL is fully back because he's getting better every week, Bradley Chubb, but he's still more of a pass rusher. Yeah, he's not.
Yeah.
What do you do with that?
It's
What do
not
you
much
do
you
with
can
that?
do. You hope for the best.
Josie,
You have to.
Josie Jewell is the name to watch in this matchup for Travis
Linebacker.
Kelce. Yes, because he is usually known for when we're wearing those white jerseys last year, Josie Jewell was the guy that always had grass on it. It felt like the game started and he was already being burned. And like in practice, he had grass on his jersey. So if the inside linebacking, if they can figure out something with those linebackers to try to cover Travis Kelce in some way, they got a shot. But with the running game, I mean, the Broncos have a top 5 run defense, but there's too many running backs there. They're going to
They have all the running backs. And here's an issue for your defense, the Broncos defense.
Yeah.
Chances are they're going to be playing in the snow. And the snow
there's
works
the Midwest.
towards the offense because the offense knows where they're going. The defense, they have to react.
Yeah.
And so if you're trying to figure out how to react to Tyreek Hill, you're not going to move. You're going to freeze up. And normally I don't do this, but I'm going Chiefs. And I will give you that 9.5.
He'll take the 10.
I'm taking.
Okay.
I just in the snow, that offense. I don't see it. I don't see it.
I think Vic Fangio will figure out a way to stifle Patrick Mahomes. I don't think it'll be this week. I think Vic will get enough chances because I think I think Vic Fangio is the first competent coach they've had since Gary Kubiak. That only really puts Vance Joseph out. I liked Vance Joseph, but it wasn't there.
It didn't work.
He needs to get a little bit older. But yeah, I mean, I'm not taking the points. I'll take the Broncos to lose close or to possibly win just because that's the way betting works and I can take the points and hope they win.
True.
So because that's how it technically works, I'm going to put myself out there as optimistic. But it's just going to be very interesting going forward in the future years if Drew Lock stays the quarterback in Denver because he's a Missouri kid and he's from Kansas City. That's his hometown team. So he said, he had a quote this week. He said, it's always fun going back there and kind of, because when he's in Denver, he's the Jedi. Yeah. And he said, it's fun going back to Kansas City and putting on that Darth Vader helmet. And I would love for him to put that Darth Vader helmet on. And I would love to see Empire Strikes Back, not Return of the Jedi.
Okay, I was going to ask you. That was going to be my follow-up. So, okay, you already answered the question.
I want Mahomes' hand to get cut at the end and then him jump in a car and leave. Which, great placement for that car. Jaguars, Chargers, they both have one win. The Jaguars have more losses. This game is in L.A. I don't know how much we need to talk about this one except for the Chargers are favored by 7.5, and I think if I was going to bet, that's the way I would go. I think I'm taking the Chargers because Justin Herbert is the best quarterback I've seen not win a game yet.
Yeah, he's been playing amazing.
Yeah, I think this will be his time to finally win one.
And they just had the week off. They've had 2 weeks for a 1-win Jags team.
Yeah.
If they don't win this game, the Chargers are firing their head coach. I think
Anthony Lynn's in trouble.
Yeah, he's in trouble.
I like Anthony Lynn.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
I really like Anthony Lynn.
He was great on Hard Knocks. I loved it.
I was like, Dad, is that you? I felt so close to him.
He's a really nice guy too, and he's like such a good person. But it's like
I'm never going to dye this gray in my beard now because I want the Anthony Lynn. That's what I want.
You want to look like Anthony.
I want to look just like him.
Is that your Halloween costume?
Yeah, I'm Anthony Lynn. I'm the headset at Chargers. That's what I'm being.
Oh, if I get my Halloween costume done in time, I'll wear it next week.
Oh boy.
Okay.
I'm working on it, but I got a pretty good idea.
I think I'll get mine before next week too, so I'll just wear mine also.
Oh
There we
jeez,
go.
ridiculous.
because no sports show's ever done episodes where they wear costumes. That brings us to our last trivia question. I wish I had a regular, like a neutral bell, but I really just wanted to hit something there. All right, so this is for all the marbles.
All right.
Okay.
And this is going to test your knowledge. This is going to be, so start thinking back. This is not going to be players from this season. Ready?
Oh, it's not going to be good for me.
It's gonna be good.
Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski have now connected on 91 touchdowns. That's the third most by any quarterback receiver combo in NFL history,
Quarterback receiver, okay.
including the playoffs, trailing only these two famous connections. So this is, you're naming a quarterback and the receiver they threw the most touchdowns to for this record. There's a 1 and a 2. I'll let you guys, if you guess either of the names, you get it right. I mean,
All right.
if you guess like the right set, you don't have to guess 1 or 2. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll let you go first.
All right. Steve Young, Jerry Rice.
That's number 2 on the list.
All right.
That's number 2. So now Harrison, you have to get number 1 to tie.
Steve Young and Jerry Rice, you asshole.
So you let me go first. I appreciate
You
it.
let him go first. Yeah, that was nice of you.
So who?
So I only have to get one right?
No, I was saying like you don't have to tell me you don't have to guess their names and say 1 or 2 is what I was saying. I was saying
Okay.
it poorly,
Steve
but
Young and Jerry Rice.
So it's somebody with more than them.
Mm-hmm.
it's somebody we've already talked about too. Not on the podcast, but one of these names has come up today with you and me talking.
Are we giving hints now? I didn't get a hint.
It's gonna throw him off. The hints throw him off. I'm actually having fun with him right now. He probably had a better idea now.
I'm going to say Joe Montana, but I don't know who his receiver would have been. I had Joe Montana right, didn't I? Oh, Peyton Manning.
Peyton
Marvin
Manning,
Harrison.
Peyton Manning, and Marvin Harrison.
That was legitimately my guess.
Yes.
Just so you know, that was legitimately going to be my
I believe
guess.
you. Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison are number 1 with 114 touchdowns. Steve Young and Jerry Rice had 92. So that's Harrison losing again. Now you're 1 and 2.
Hey, I at
time.
least didn't get all wrong.
No, you
Yeah,
did
that's
really
true,
well.
yeah.
You did really well.
Buccaneers Raiders. That's going to be the Sunday night game. The Buccaneers are favored by 4. They just really showed the Packers what's up. And this may be a hot take, but I think the Raiders win this game. It's in Las Vegas. They had a bye week to prepare for it. And John Gruden, as much as I hate to say this, seems to be winning some of these games. Just beating the Chiefs alone gives me
Right.
confidence that they can beat the Bucs in Vegas.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Me? I agree with you.
You think the Raiders?
I don't think the Bucs are as good as everyone thinks they are after beating the Packers.
Yeah.
I think everyone's got them as a top 3 team.
Okay.
I don't have that.
All right. I think what's going on with Tampa Bay right now is their defense is great. Their defense was good last year. It was above average. It was very good last year. And I think their defense is even better this year. And I think what we saw in the Tampa Bay Green Bay game was that growth in the offense. Like the offense is finally getting there because Tom Brady is terrifying when he's going to Gronk. So now he has Gronk on top of, assuming Mike Evans and Chris Godwin both play. I think this is when they start to hit their stride. I thought this is when they start to look semi-invincible. So I have Tampa Bay, and it's not even close.
Yeah, with the 4 points. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucs won this game. Obviously they're favored. I wouldn't be surprised at all, but it just feels like there's going to be some upsets, and it just feels like with the bye week, with the Raiders winning some games, it's been 10 years since the Raiders beat a team like the Chiefs.
Yes.
It's been a long time, and just it feels like, especially with that John Gruden Tampa Bay connection, he doesn't forget. There's still a little bit of a grudge against Tampa Bay, even though,
He's upset that he won a Super Bowl with somebody else's team. Is that the grudge? Like, how dare you fire me after I won a Super Bowl with Dungy's
more
team?
like that they found success without him.
And you've also got to remember, everyone wants to beat Tom Brady.
Yeah, so they always are the hunted.
Yeah.
I've changed my tune on I completely said the exact same thing you did for many years. But after watching Gary Kubiak take John Fox's team and how much better they got, and then they won the Super Bowl, I now get a little bit of that coaching change, but I do agree that John Gruden has not built a Super Bowl winning team. He coached someone else's drafted team and took them in. He took a Madden franchise and played better.
Here's where the difference is between the two, because not only did John Gruden take a team that was built for a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay, he got to play against the team that he coached, where he already knew any weaknesses and their calls and things like that. So he was put in a position where I got this great defense and I'm going against a great offense, but guess who knows that offense better than anybody else? Yeah. I do. So I think,
So, all right, so me and Harrison are taking the Raiders. Antoine's taking the Bucks. I just have a feeling this won't age well for me and Harrison. And then on Monday night, we have the final game of the week. The final game of the week, unless one of these gets moved to Tuesday. Bears-Rams in the game that nobody knew they wanted, but it's actually the 5-1 Bears and the 4-2 Rams. And a lot of people, and myself included probably a week or two ago, are saying, oh, the Bears, they're just getting lucky. They're getting lucky. But at a certain point in the season, if you're winning these games, you're beating people.
Exactly. You only have to beat the team in front of you.
Yeah. So, I'm starting to get a little bit sold on the Bears having, not like Nick Foles is Tannehill good, which is a weird sentence to say.
Wow. I've never heard that sentence before in my life, but I get it.
Yeah. It's not like it's not having this resurgent season or anything, but Nick Foles is doing enough for Khalil Mack and the defense to help win these games.
Yeah.
Even though David Montgomery looks like a man with cement shoes. So Rams are at home. Rams are favored by 6. Who do you guys have? 45-point over-under, a little bit low. I think because they're expecting Aaron Donald and Khalil Mack to really rock things on both sides.
So interesting stat. Heard it this week. Aaron Donald has never sacked Nick Foles. He's like one of the quarterbacks he's never been able to get to, and he's played him like 4 times.
Wow. Really? Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. So, but I still have the Rams winning.
Yeah.
I think the Rams have more of a little bit better offense. Aaron Donald on defense can wreak havoc, and I get Khalil Mack. I get the power of Nick Foles, but I think the Rams will beat them.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going with Chicago.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Bears. And it goes to what you just said. Like, they've been lucky in every one of their games, but just like when we were talking earlier about Tennessee, they obviously know how to win. They obviously know how to win the game that they're currently playing. So, that their performance in one game may not beat the Green Bay Packers, but they weren't playing. Their performance beat the team in front of them. And I think Nagy, that's how you pronounce his name, right?
Yeah.
He has that offense going in a place that's comfortable to where they won't lose the game, and the defense just has to hold it up. I don't trust Jared Goff.
Really?
I don't trust Jared. He's the rich man's Jimmy Garoppolo for me.
Yeah.
And so therefore I'm not excited. I don't see him winning a game.
Jared Goff is so much like a young Matt Ryan.
See, also, they're all cousins.
Yeah.
They're all related. There's like, you have the coaching trees. That's a quarterback tree. Matt Ryan is their godfather, and then they're coming under him.
Yeah, they all would thrive in that same system.
Yeah.
I think, is Matt Nagy a good coach? I think this 5-1 start really shows he's a good coach, because almost any other Bears coach outside of Ditka in his heyday, it really feels like this is a year of Trubisky being the way he was, where most of these games could have been lost. Some of these are really close. And just edging these teams, it makes me think that Matt Nagy might be the real deal. Because after last year, I was thinking, okay, he had a good rookie year, and now he's going to get bounced out of the Windy City like everyone else. Matt Nagy looks like the real deal, and I think that they at least cover. I'm taking the Bears and the points. Yeah, I'm taking the Bears and the points because the Rams, you're right, I don't trust Jared Goff.
No.
They have not figured out a replacement for Todd Gurley. There's nobody that really takes the reins every week. And they've only got the 2 wide receivers. And I just think that the Bears have a good enough secondary to try to shut down Robert Woods and to try to shut down Cooper Kupp. And then what are they going to do? Goff's not running.
And their best wide receiver, in my opinion, is the tight end Higbee.
Yeah.
Like, if you take him
and he's been a disappointment this year too.
But he started. He had I think he had 2 touchdowns in the first 2 games.
Right.
And then when the defenses started to key in on them, that's when, ever since then, the Rams have been 2-2. They were 2-0 before then. Now they're 2-2. So now they're falling back because Jared Goff, he has a specific place that he's going to throw the ball, and if it's not there, then he gets more uncomfortable.
Yeah. So I'm taking the Bears. We'll see how it goes. So you're taking the Rams, and we're both taking the Bears.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Lone Wolf.
So that's all the games for Week 7 coming up. I'm Ian.
I'm Harrison.
I'm Antoine.
And we're out.